Hi, everybody. This is Miss Vitantonio, and I am reading Chapter 8 of Finding Langston. I wake up to Daddy fussing. Come on, son, we got to get a move on. Just like back at home, Saturday is the day me and Daddy run errands. When I roll over on top of my book, I look, but Daddy's back is turned to me, buttoning up his suspenders. I tuck the book away and put on my clothes. I ate my burnt toast, and Daddy gathers up some papers and folds them into his jacket. Out in the hallway, loud music is coming from the apartment next door. Down 2 flights, our neighbor on the second floor has her apartment door open, and the smell of eggs and bacon frying in the skillet on the stove makes my stomach growl. We step around younger boys playing marbles on the sidewalk. Makes me wish my Saturdays were my own with nothing on my mind but friends and marbles. We start off down Wabash, cut through the alley, and walk behind the buildings over to Indiana. Out on the sidewalks in front, I can pretend Chicago ain't so bad. But in the alleys and around and back of the buildings, ain't no hiding the dirt. We got to jump over puddles of dirty water and busted up furniture, piles of trash. I hate walking in back of the buildings, but it is a shortcut. Back home, we couldn't see a neighbor for miles. I'll never get used to people living on top of each other. I'll never get used to everybody knowing what time you get up in the morning and what time you're cooking, what you're cooking for breakfast. And everyone too busy to say a decent morning when you see them on the street. Back home, I had space to breathe. Had to walk down the road a ways to get to our nearest neighbor. But if somebody got sick or was in need of a hand, folks were there to help before you even knew it. I knew I had to act right because someone was always watching, waiting to get word back to my folks. Here in a city filled with people, I can count on one hand how many people even know my name. First, we go to the bank so Daddy can cash his check. Then he drops off the rent money. Then Daddy tucks some bills into an envelope and he mails at the post office. It's the money he mails to Aunt Lena back home. She's all alone with her 3 girls, plus she's watching out for Grandma too. I asked Daddy once why he sends money every week, when sometimes it means we got to go without. A man takes care of his family, is what he said. But I thought, ain't I family? I don't mind being outside running errands, even with the days getting colder. I can't stand being cramped inside with nowhere to turn and missing Mama hanging between me and Daddy. It makes our small apartment feel like a closet. Plus, I know when we get back to our apartment, Daddy will fill the small sink with water and soap powder to wash our clothes. The sink in the corner of our room is hardly big enough to wash our dishes, so it sure ain't fit for washing clothes. They never get as clean as Mama could get them with her wash tub. Daddy hangs a rope across the room to hang the clothes till they dry stiff and hard. No matter how hard Daddy wrings them, they still drip on the floor. We got to shake them till they're smooth because we don't have an iron. Saturday was always Mama's wash day. She'd sort all the clothes into piles and start to wash in early in the morning before cooking breakfast. Once we got up, she stripped the sheets from the beds and washed them too. It would take near the whole day to wash, hang the clothes out on the line, and iron them. But I love the way the house smelled clean with wood polish and soap. And on Saturday night after my bath, when I lay in my bed, my pillowcase, worn thin from washing with sun, smelled so sweet. Our last stop is the fish market. Line is out the door, but we line up too, making our way to the counter and leaving footprints in the sawdust on the floor. Daddy likes to have fish on Saturdays like Mama fried up back home. Fresh porgies dipped in egg, little cornmeal and flour, and fried in a big pot of hot grease till they were golden brown and crispy on the edges. Time Daddy finished eating, nothing but a pile of bones are left on his plate. Mama would boil vinegar on the stove later to get rid of the fish smell, but Daddy didn't bother about the smell in our apartment, and his fish don't taste nothing like Mama's. But I eat it just the same. Mama used to smile as she watched the bones pile up on our plates. She'd rub Daddy's back as she sat at the table talking nonstop when our mouths were full and keeping an eye out to make sure we had enough. Tasted so good. I didn't stop eating till I felt sick. Next, Fishman calls out, and Daddy steps forward. Pound of porgies, Daddy said, heads and tails on. Country, someone snickers from behind. I think it's one of the kids from school till I turn and see only grown-ups in line behind us. I look at Daddy. Don't think he heard because he doesn't say anything and doesn't turn around. The fishman hands him the fish wrapped in brown paper. Out on the sidewalk, I say, ever make you mad when people call you country? Ain't no shame in being from the country, Daddy said, not slowing down. At school, I start, but I can't say it. At school what? Daddy asks. Nothing, I answer. We're just about at the 4th floor when I see Ms. Fulton coming out of her apartment with her shopping cart. My chest gets tight. I'm so tired from staying up late night reading. I just want to get in bed and close my eyes. Afternoon, Miss Fulton, Daddy says. Afternoon, Henry, she says back, sweet as can be. I ain't seen Daddy smile this hard since we moved to Chicago. Langston, be happy to help you with your cart. Langston would not be happy to help with your cart. Langston is tired. That's so kind. Her smile at me ain't nothing like the one she has for Daddy. So it's back downstairs to the market and back again. Her wide behind swinging in my face all the way up the stairs and me dragging a heavy cart step by step. Time I get back, the clothes are hanging from the line and Daddy's already started frying the fish. I close the door soft and make my way up to the bed when he says, we need to get this floor swept and mopped. I get the broom from the closet and start sweeping. As the pile of dirt grows bigger and bigger, I keep thinking, I'm never going to stay up late reading again. But when the fish is gone, the plates are washed, the floor is swept and mopped, and Daddy is snoring, all I can think of is how much I wish I were back in Alabama in a house that didn't smell like fish and sound like a honky-tonk on a Saturday night. And how I wish I could hear the night sounds of crickets and feel my mama's soft lips on my forehead. My eyes are heavy, but I still pull out the book from my hiding spot and read. Folks, I come up north because they told me the north was fine. I come up north because they told me the north was fine. Been up here 6 months. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm not the only Langston was lied to. Every Sunday morning, we walk down the block to church. Not like the church at home, painted white with pews inside. This church got a sign painting out front, says Praise Tabernacle. Daddy and I sit all the way in the back of the church that don't feel nothing like a church. More like a store, but the folks inside are dressed like church folks and praising like church folks, jumping from their seats when the music gets good and the preacher gets to preaching loud. With hats so tall, I can barely see up front, but I can hear the preacher shouting from the stage. Daddy brought along his Bible, so we read Proverbs 3:5 along with the deacon's scripture reading. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways to acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Daddy used to read his Bible every night after supper. Since Mama died, only time he picks it up is Sundays when we head to church. I got a feeling we're here because he feels Mama would have wanted it for me. But his heart ain't here, and neither is mine. It's like our faith got buried right along with Mama. And now it's covered over with dirt and a tombstone back in Alabama. And that is chapter 8. I hope you are enjoying the book and see you at the next chapter.